Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas. Today in our special show, we have someone whom we can refer to as Bhishma Pitama, committed to a cause. When I say Bhishma Pitama, it is not just his age, his commitment and his sustained commitment towards spreading awareness about vegetarian vision. I have the distinct proud and pleasure of welcoming the founder and chairman of Vegetarian Vision, H.K.Shah ji. Shah ji, स्वागत है आपका. Namaskar.
Thank you.
So Shah ji, when I say ji, it is the suffix with Shah. So his actual name is H.K.Shah. And what is the actual name of someone who has also been a committee member of Vegetarian Vision's annual event? And this time it is going to be 25th. So it's going to be a big event. So another name that starts with B is the name of Bob. And Bob DiBenedetto.
Yes.
Did I pronounce that a little bit okay?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. You say your name again?
DiBenedetto.
DiBenedetto. Sounds musical. And what becomes musical relates to the delicate way of handling life. And she makes life at home and wherever she is beautiful by her presence and by her focus on harmony. How to live in harmony with nature is her focus also, which brought her to Vegetarian Vision. President of this organization, Chandra Mehta ji joins me.
Yes, namaste.
Let's begin with H.K. Shah. Shah Sahab, 25 years ago, you thought of Vegetarian Vision. How it came to you?
You see, I saw the people here who came as students. For them, it was very hard to find the vegetarian food. They were in the remote places throughout the country, in this country. So they started changing their lifestyle from vegetarian to started eating meat, fish and everything. So I said better to stop at this step, otherwise majority of the people who have come here from the India will convert themselves into meat eating. So what is the way? The way is to start some association, give them information, education, and find the way of stopping them. So we started in 1992. We met few people. We contributed some small funds and started and getting the support from both New York and New Jersey, our members. Every year we started getting the functions like vegetarian cruise, vegetarian Thanksgiving dinner, and several other programs like children essay competition. So children who are the age of 8 and 10, so they remain the vegetarian forever. That is how we started. In last 24 years, the progress has been made. It was only in one place. Now we have divided in New York and New Jersey. So both are. And again, we are planning to go further in other states also. Now I have completed 25 years, so I will be retiring. The new generation will take it over and hope to expand throughout this country, and perhaps the message will go in many parts of the world.
Wonderful. We'll catch up about the progress and how next generation is becoming a part of this, if I refer to it as a movement. Now coming back to the basic premises with which Vegetarian Vision was founded by H.K. Shah, Bob, he said people would become non-vegetarian and it would affect their health. Is that true? And why so much emphasis on being vegetarian or continuing to stay vegetarian from the point of view of health, mental as well as biological? What has been your observation and understanding?
Well, what I found out, I went vegetarian almost 40 years ago. And at that time, I thought I was going to be hurting myself.
You said 40 or
40, about
okay.
38 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so at that time, I thought I was going to be hurting myself. And I was very athletic, and I appreciated my body and wanted to stay active. And so I thought, well, somehow I have to make up for what I'm cutting out of my diet, because according to society at that time, I would be hurting myself. So I started reading about nutrition. And the more I read, the more I found that if you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, that is not full of junk foods, but full of the foods that grow from the grounds in as unprocessed state as possible, you are reducing your risk, and this has been proven over and over again since that time in many decades, that over and over again we find that you're reducing your risk of cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, osteoporosis, kidney disease, and a host of other diseases that are just plaguing society. And so it's good for us individually, but also when we're talking about health. If we were to look at society and think about how much money we could save if we could cut back on many of these diseases are largely preventable with a modification of lifestyle. So a vegetarian, whole foods, plant-based diet has an enormous potential to help us for their own health, as well as to help society's health in cutting back so much of our healthcare costs. Trillions and trillions of dollars are potentially able to be cut.
Important points, not only health, but healthcare cost also. Let's go to another side. When we relate to food, we are talking about our taste buds. And some people feel that if it is all vegetarian, it may not be that tasty. So before we talk about the upcoming annual convention, as president of Vegetarian Vision, Chandra ji, you are a wonderful cook also. Talk to me, is it possible to have delicious dishes without venturing into non-vegetarianism?
Oh, there is lot of varieties, and we can try so many things. And
what is your favorite dish that you love cooking?
I love to try so many things. I want to explore. Yesterday, I tried a turmeric pancake.
Wow.
First time. And I really enjoyed. I put some spinach and tomatoes, some other things, and made the turmeric paste and then steam it. And I really loved it. And there is so many things.
Absolutely. तो जैसे कहते हैं मुंह में पानी आ जाता है, तो अगर कोई इनोवेटिव अप्रोच के साथ प्रेम से और क्रिएटिवली कुछ नया बनाते हैं, that doesn't require that it has to be non-vegetarian. Of course, vegetarianism offers plenty of variety, and the annual convention of Vegetarian Vision also helps people in learning more about that. Let's talk about this year's annual convention, which is happening in September, and that will be on 9th and 10th September. It is a very, very big kind of project or event. Tell me more about this vision of the upcoming convention.
Yes, this 9th and 10th of September, 2 days we are having a big functions. We have taken hired the place about 40,000 square feet in Manhattan, which is the center of the Manhattan, New York, which is known around the world. We have got lot of activities in those 2 days. Speakers are there, vegetarian cook will be there, entertainment programs are there, children programs are there, there will be yoga, meditation, and many more things are there. So we are busy for all the 2 days. It will start in the morning 10 o'clock on Saturday, close at 7 o'clock, and Sunday, which is 10th, we start at 10 o'clock, which we close at 5 o'clock. There will be fashion show, there will be another children entertainment, and other activities are there.
Wonderful. Shah, I'll come back to you. And Bob, the premise is that by witnessing something like the annual convention of Vegetarian Vision, someone who has been non-vegetarian, he'll have some inspiration to become vegetarian. Is that the idea?
Of course. And it's a noble cause, because I had mentioned health. And of course we all care about our health and we want everybody to be healthy. But it's really a global issue in terms of keeping our society at a level where it's actually stable. Because the situation is that if someone comes to a vegetarian conference and they learn to be vegetarian, you might see it as just one person having changed their lifestyle. But the fact is there are millions upon millions of vegetarians in the world. Think of all the people in India who are naturally vegetarian. And then in America, it's growing. It's become a trend where presidents and vice presidents from the past are actually proclaiming themselves vegan. So why it's so important is that if we do not do this, we are heading toward following America's example. And I'll tell you why that's a problem. America started eating a lot of meat 50, 60, 70 years ago. And they went up because as they gained more wealth, people started eating more and more. And as a result, we started depleting our resources because it takes so much grain to make a small amount of beef. We started depleting our other resources like the rainforests. We started using all of our lands to create all the grains to grow to feed all the animals. And when we're feeding this food to all the animals, we're wasting 90% of the value of the food. Now, if you think about if a country like China, if they were to eat a diet like Americans eat, the standard American diet, there would be no grain left in the entire world for any other people. That's how grain intensive it would be. So will it have an impact on individuals? Yes. The information that they'll be hearing is very powerful, like some of these statistics I've just quoted. But also for themselves, they'll be motivated by I think, the happiness of being vegetarian. I know that most people, when I ask if they are vegetarians, vegans, and I ask them, what are the top 3 decisions that you've made in your life? One of them will be that they stopped eating meat. So it's really something that is fun, enjoyable, as well as being helpful for us individually and for the world.
Let me stay with you, Bob, for a little bit more, because you are probably the only one amongst all the panelists who have experienced both sides. You were a non-vegetarian.
I was.
And then you became vegetarian. So there might have been some difference in your thinking, in the way you felt. You look very happy, but there could be many, many factors to contribute to your happiness. What was it that helped you decide to become vegetarian?
Well, it was an event. When I had done this, I didn't know one other vegetarian. There weren't any vegetarians around. I didn't grow up with vegetarians. No one knew what the word meant when I was growing up. There were no other kids in school who were vegetarian. So I happened to be at Georgetown University, and I was in the karate club. And my teacher at the time was at a party. And he said, we were by the cold cuts. And I asked him why he wasn't eating any cold cuts. It didn't make sense to me. And he said, well, I wouldn't eat anything where it would involve me hurting someone or something. There's no way I would ever hurt something, a being, that wasn't trying to hurt me. And I didn't understand that. It went right over my head for years, for a couple of years. Then, at one point, I was looking at meat, and it just occurred to me, I loved animals. I appreciated animals. They made me happy in their presence. I just was always just very happy being with them and understanding that they had something very special, and not just to feed me. And I realized in that moment, I would never eat meat again. And that was decades ago.
That's such a moving
Wonderful.
story, and the sense of non-violence and vegetarianism, they go hand in hand. Though we sometimes create a dividing line and we start being non-violent, it doesn't involve not eating meat. Many people look at it like that, and we cannot question the way they look at it, but we want to expose them to the other way of looking at it. Now, talking about the excitement of reaching out to so many people, Chandraji, you also were a part of the discussion that this is the way the event should be lined up. Talk to me a little bit about what is happening and what is it that you are most excited about?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल जो भी बॉब जी ने बोला है
जी,
उसी के बारे में मैं बोलना चाहती हूँ कि एनिमल्स के पास में इमोशंस होते हैं, वो बोल नहीं पाते हैं, उनको अपन को अंडरस्टैंड करना चाहिए कि उनकी फीलिंग्स है, ऐसा नहीं है वो बेचारे बोल ही नहीं पाते हैं. सारे ह्यूमन बीइंग, सारे एनिमल्स सब सेम है, तो उनके लिए अपन को रिस्पेक्ट होना बहुत ज़रूरी है.
सेंसिटिविटी होनी चाहिए.
सेंसिटिव होनी चाहिए, और जितना अपन अच्छा खाना खाते हैं उतने ही अपने इमोशंस भी चेंज होते हैं. वी बिकम मोर सॉफ्ट पर्सन कि ओ नहीं उसको बेचारे को प्रॉब्लम होगी. मेरी एक मेड है जो कि मेरे साथ में 12 साल से काम कर रही है, और पहले वो हर समय सैंडविच लेके आती थी, कोई टर्की है, कुछ भी है, जो भी है, और फिर धीरे धीरे मैंने उसको मेरा फूड ट्राई कराने शुरू किया, तो उसको बहुत अच्छा लगा। और अभी ये स्टेज आ गई है कि वो सैंडविच भी नहीं लाती है, मेरा फूड वो टेस्ट करती है कि इसमें कितना सॉल्ट है, कितना लेमन है, कि मिसेस यू पुट यू ऐड। मतलब उसको बहुत अच्छा लगने लगा और उसने अपने आप ऑटोमेटिक वो चेंज हो गई। तो अपने पास में इतनी वैरायटी है, अगर लोग बाग रियल का ट्राई करें तो उनको अच्छा लगेगा कि ओ ये क्या है, क्यों बेचारे एनिमल्स के लिए उनके दिल में भी थोड़ा सा प्यार आएगा कि नहीं, हम उनको क्यों मार रहे हैं, क्यों खा रहे हैं।
Absolutely. So, Chandra ji, let me come back to you with the reference of upcoming convention. H.K. Shah साहब, जब भी कुछ नया काम शुरू किया जाता है और लोग सोचते हैं भाई वेजिटेरियन तो मैं घर पे खाता ही हूँ, why should I bother reaching out to people? और कुछ लोगों ने आपको डिस्करेज भी किया होगा इनिशियली. Talk to me a little bit about the initial hurdles that you had to overcome in order to continue to have this movement of awareness.
Not much, to be very frank. There was a good support from the community.
Very good.
They contributed good funds also, and there was much help. They were more helpful. Those who were eating the meat, they never bothered about a vegetarian vision or anything. They were on the other side of the life. They were on their own, but they never disturb us. They never discourage us, nor they help us also. But they were separate their own. And gradually they try to understand more and more. Now they are coming in our fold, some of them. Let me tell you, some medical doctors who were totally non-vegetarian in last 8 to 10 years, some have already changed and they have become totally vegetarian, medical doctors. Now they have changed their life. They were on the other side of the roof. Now they are with us. They support us, they have become our member, and they contribute their fund also. That is a way of life changing.
On the one hand, we talk about health, we talk about environment, we talk about a sense of being cheerful and the kind of food that you eat, interrelationship. But there are other ways in which some people associate your food habits with the religious background that you come from, which might be rooted there, and yet it has a universal sort of way to be perceived. You can probably address it, because there could be someone who says, no, this is a Hindu way, or this is a Jain way, or this is a Buddhist way, or how do you deal with that?
Well, I think if you look at most of the people who are spending time, let's say, meditating and going into deep meditation, most of them eat a vegetarian diet, because it does do a certain thing to your awareness. It allows for a certain lightness. But beyond that, it's really universal. I think we really just haven't uncovered the fact that our values are right now are way out of sync with our actions, regardless of our spiritual paths or what's brought us to this point. So we're looking at Americans, and Americans have animals that live with them. They're companion animals, they're dogs, they're cats, they're birds. The vast majority of people who live with animals consider them to be family members. They buy them gifts on holidays, they pamper them, they kiss them, they love them. They understand their value, and they understand that they are creatures deserving of all the love and opportunity to be happy and peaceful in their lives. So that's universal. On the other hand, it's also universal in America that most people will go to lunch and eat a burger. They'll eat a pork chop. They'll be using the same animals, the same types of animals with the same awareness, the same capabilities, and yet they won't even be thinking about it.
And the essence that all are one, whether you are human or in some other form, and that subtle sensitivity towards this unifying silence is so uplifting that you can see it on the faces of people who come out of deep meditation. So that being vegetarian helps. Now, how this Vegetarian Vision's 25th mega event is going to help in spreading awareness, what to expect, tell us about the way it is designed.
इसमें बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज़ होने वाली हैं. फैशन शो होगा, मिस्टर एंड मिस पेजेंट फॉर किड्स के लिए होगा, योगा, लॉट ऑफ स्पीकर्स आर कमिंग, उनसे अपन लोग बहुत कुछ सीखेंगे. डिफरेंट बहुत सारे डॉक्टर्स हैं, गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट हैं, तो इट विल रियली हेल्प। और शेफ्स होंगे और उनसे भी बहुत कुछ लर्न करेंगे, नए नए डिशेस क्या वो शोकेस करते हैं।
Wonderful. Chandra, you
So-
want to add to this lineup of events that are happening on 9th and 10th September, and the venue is also very apt, and this is the central location of Manhattan Penn Plaza.
Penn Plaza,
Yes.
which is the most centrally located, and it is going to be a huge success. We are expecting about 20-25,000 people minimum in 2 days' time, and we'll have several food stalls, some vegetarian food manufacturers.
Yoga is also.
Yoga is there, meditation is there. These are the trend nowadays to become a vegetarian in this country. And we see the future of vegetarian growing. Once upon a time, I'm talking of 50s when I used to come here. Except New York, there were 2 Indian restaurants which were vegetarian, serving the vegetarian food. They were. If you go anywhere, San Francisco, Chicago, Florida, no vegetarian food available. If you go some restaurants, they look at you like you are come from some other planet. How do you live? Do you live in water and air?
Yeah.
There were questions. Now, when you go any restaurant, walk in, whether they are vegetarian, non-vegetarian, we want vegetarian food. Okay, sir, we will give you. The trend has changed, time has changed.
New York is such an important place. It offers everything to everyone based on what you are aspiring for. And at the moment, as we speak, we actually have given President of United States also from Manhattan. But in Manhattan, there is going to be this abundance of inspiration on 9th and 10th September. And as we conclude this conversation, you can check out more details on the website vegetarianvision.org, and you may take the opportunity, use that opportunity to register and be a part of this wonderful gathering focused on vegetarianism. And anything else that you would like to add, Chandraji?
Actually, we are very excited कि 9th और 10th की डेट सब लोग सेव करें और आएँ, और बहुत कुछ वी आर गोइंग टू लर्न एंड विल एंजॉय। और फ्रॉम डिफरेंट कंट्रीज़ अलग अलग लोग बाग अपना म्यूज़िक के साथ में डांस करेंगे, परफॉर्मेंसेस होगी, फैशन शोज़ होंगे, और स्पीकर्स से वी कैन रियली लर्न। और यंग किड्स, उनका भी एक कॉर्नर होगा, वो भी अपना एक्टिविटीज़ उनकी होगी, और भी बहुत कुछ होगा। वी आर रियली वर्किंग हार्ड, एंड आई वांट कि बस ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग बाग इसमें आएँ, और इससे एक वर्ल्ड में सब में अवेयरनेस आएगी कि ओ वाह, वेजिटेरियन विजन में आने से अवेयरनेस तो डेफिनेट आएगी कि क्या क्या हो सकता है।
Wonderful.
Thank you.
New York, 9th, 10th September, a wonderful opportunity to learn, share and celebrate vegetarian vision. And as I thank Bob and Chandraji and we conclude this conversation, before we go, Shah Sahab, anything else that you want to add?
No, nothing. We follow the principle of non-violence, which has been taught by our forefathers, by our leaders, and we follow that. That is the most important. Non-violence is the most important word I can put in one word.
Wonderful. And I would now say that another synonymous word for non-violence could be love. So when you say I am non-violent, that means I love all. So loving all is the message that would be shared on 9th and 10th September by Vegetarian Vision with one and all. And I thank H.K.Shah Sahab, Bob and Chandraji for joining us and sharing all about the upcoming event on 9th and 10th September. This is Ashok Vyas. Thanks.